This is Mark Doley. I'm here again. This is the second video for my presentation for my capstone project for the MIT xPro. This video I'll be going over the database and API. So I'm going to describe the database, the data structure, and the data abstraction layer. And I'll discuss the endpoints, showcase the API documentation, and share what API tools and protocol I used. So basically, I already showed the front end with the React components. Over here in the diagram, that's that public folder. And so I'm using an Express server, and I point to that public folder from the Express server. And I use a data abstraction layer to communicate between the Express server and the database. The database is a Mongo database, and it's deployed to the cloud because that's going to be required anyway to get the whole thing on DigitalOcean. I need to access it from anywhere, not just from my local machine. So I put it on Atlas Cloud, and I also used Studio 3T as a graphical interface to make sure that everything was working. And so I'll show you my files and try to walk through it as best I can. We'll start here at the index, and you can see that it requires Express, and it requires access to the data abstraction layer, and it requires access to this public folder here. So basically, we're we're sending these routes here. We're getting them from that public folder, and we are sending it to this function in the data abstraction layer. So if we're creating a new user, it takes this information from this route, it sends us over to this function create in the data abstraction layer, which is right here, this function. And then what happens is it makes this request to the database, and it puts this new document into the database. So it's an object with the name, email, password, balance, and it shoots back that same information to us after it's been dropped into the database. Another example is the login. So now we're taking this route from the public folder. It's telling us what the email and password is of the person who entered the information in the browser. So it takes that email and password, and it passes it back to the data abstraction layer, and it's looking for a particular function. What is that? dal.login. So it's looking for the login function. And so that's what I'm going to look for here. And so here's the login function. It takes an email and a password, and it is going to check against the database. So it's going to find this email and matching password. That's what the comma is. If they don't match, then it gets rejected. If it does match, then that person becomes logged in, and they have access to all of their information and all of the functionality. And then the same goes for deposit, withdraw, anything that we want. And so I guess I can show you how much time? Not too much time, but I can show you what it looks like on Atlas. So this is the actual database. And so if I want to browse my collection, these are all of the objects that have been put in. And so it's pretty nice. It's pretty easy to use. This is how I get my link to connect it. I'll show you that in the. And what else? When I go in here, I should be able to see the console. I can connect. But anyway, that's pretty cool. And that's about it for the database. It all works. And I'll see you in the next video.